Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Rolling.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1590, August 1st, 2025. Second day in a row for a record to be set in 1988. It was 101 degrees on this day in 1988. And the 60s and 70s could have their chilly mornings. On the morning of this day in 1962, hi, sports fans, it was 49 degrees.
Call Josh.
I know. I'm going to. Call Josh at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner.
Hi.
Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop. John Heidt in the newsroom. And of course,
Grandpa.
Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
John Heidt.
Yes.
We have a loyal, faithful, longtime listener we all know, Carrie. Carrie Moran.
Yeah.
Oh, Carrie, sure.
And she writes, she must be feeling a little down. She writes, apropos of nothing, can John tell the story of when he fell into his garbage can?
To lighten up for the weekend?
I was taking out my trash, recycling, and I started to laugh thinking about it. Plus, I could use a good laugh. Carrie, like you, John, you have the floor.
Sure.
It was you apparently fell into your bin.
I did fall in. It was not the garbage. It was the yard waste bin. And I was cutting my lawn, and I had the bag on the lawnmower, and I was going to empty the bag. And so I emptied it, and then I thought, well, I have to move over and pull some weeds. So I grabbed the bin without putting the lid up. So the lid was still hanging down. Started pulling it. The lid tripped me. I fell straight headfirst into the yard waste
feet
bin.
Sticking out?
Like the Wicked Witch on the Wizard of Oz.
And my neighbor, Tony, who has since moved across the street, was watching. Yeah. I didn't hear anything. And say, well, I crawled out trying to get my dignity, and and then he started laughing. I said, well, thank you for waiting. He said, well, I wanted to make sure you didn't hurt yourself when you fell in before I laughed.
Did the bin collapse to the driveway, or did it stay vertical?
It fell straight over, so I was lying prone, even with the ground, basically, with my feet sticking out.
Now, I'm laughing, but it is odd that those bins cannot be manipulated when the lids are open.
Yeah.
That'll trip you up.
Yes.
Not that I'm an athlete. I don't fall into the bin.
You're an athlete.
Yeah.
I see.
Athlete.
Yes, you with the back with your hand up.
I have a question, Your Honor. John, were you cutting your grass the way Reavers cuts his grass, where you take a lap and have one on in the garage, and then take another lap? And
it's been a few years since I had any alcohol, but at that point, yes, I may have. I may have had a beer or two in the process. Yes.
Cutting your grass is the best.
I've had the bin get away from me with me holding on to it in the winter, and I ended up sliding down
the ice, sure,
on my butt, hanging.
Is that when you had the new shoes?
For dear life. The new shoes is when we had an appearance at the golf show.
Yes, sir.
And Rook was going to pick me up, and I was waiting for him, and I walked out to the street and went down. And at that point, a very attractive young woman was walking to her parked car and gave me a really troubled look. And I I just said, I got new shoes. And that's
so funny.
And she might have accepted that. But I
I
hope
do-
that cheered Carrie up that you told her the falling into the bin story.
Yeah, and I do want to tell you, since you brought up your shoe story, in the Heidt household here in Andover, whenever somebody falls,
You just tell
we
them you
always
got
get
new
up
shoes.
and we go, I got new shoes.
got new shoes.
So it's a little tribute to you, I guess, here in our house.
Can I tell you something else about the bins? I like to clean them.
Oh, sure.
I like to hose them out.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to use bleach.
I don't. I just hose them out.
just hose them out, sure.
Get rid of the fruit flies and whatnot, right?
Well, sometimes there's bugs and, lots of sticky things.
Especially if you got,
They stink.
you've got dead raccoons in your
They
bin
start
or
to
whatever.
smell.
I have a correction for the town council. I know I was trying to speak with authority on the birthing process,
Oh, God.
but I was taken to task by my youngest sister, Maria, and I know the players at Regents Hospital are now all watching on YouTube, but it's not efficiency, it's effaced. That's what I thought it was efficiency. Maria says it's effaced.
You notice none of us corrected you on that.
We bought it. I mean, whatever you said,
whatever you say, Doc.
we thought that was
got
it.
you.
And quick shout out to your sister, Maria, who is awesome.
Maria is awesome.
May I say
Get back to
something?
work.
May I say something about the Twins having cleansed their lineup?
Cleansed.
I don't mind the loss of Correa, and I'll tell you why.
On account of you want to know why?
On account of you want to know why? I always thought he was disinterested.
Thank you.
That's the word I would come up with.
Yep.
He would occasionally have spurts of capability, but I had the feeling that
He wasn't all
somehow
in.
he thought the Twins were beneath him.
Yep. I couldn't agree with you more.
And it bothered me. I let it bother me, and I thought he was disingenuous in his little speeches where he pretended to be the leader.
You know who agrees with you in my estimation? Dan Gladden. I was listening to the game the other day, and he pulled up lame on a base hit to first. And the other guy, Atterbury, said, I think he might be hurt. And Dan said, well, I guess so.
Yeah.
Meaning he probably thinks the same thing you do, where it's like he just doesn't want to be here.
He just never expressed a belonging. And
I think he did
and he
initially.
got a lot of money for what I think has been a very mundane performance.
I couldn't agree more.
Do you agree who they received?
I don't know
in
what they
trade
get for
from
him.
him.
I
A
don't
nice young pitcher by the name of
Matt Mikulski?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Reusse
It's spelled
tweeted something.
differently, though.
Boy, they're desperate. They got Matt Mikulski.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty bad.
You going tonight?
I'm a good bench coach.
But we'll have Pat today, so we'll save the. But I had to get that off my chest about Carlos Correa. I'm unimpressed.
I have a very unpopular
And he's
take.
only 30. He could still have a hell of a career if
Right.
he got straightened out.
And if he can actually stay healthy. I actually like a lot of the stuff the Twins did.
What's to like? We don't know anything about any of the players.
Well, here's the thing. And I know Kenny had an epic and awesome tirade yesterday, but they weren't going to go anywhere this year. They definitely weren't winning the World Series. They probably weren't making the postseason. Blow it up. Go get a bunch of young talent because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, but I think you're making a crucial error. They didn't blow it up with any plan in mind. They blew it up to reduce to
Agreed.
entice buyers of the club.
Agreed, but they did add a lot of pieces
people.
that are going to be able to not only help in the short term, but definitely from a pitching standpoint, help in the long term.
Well, let's talk about revenue because there's going to be fair weather fans who will sit. All summer I've sat there and watched the Twins.
Sure.
And I'm not like you or John or even Joe, but now I'm not going to. So all
Sure.
of those ads they play, I won't see any of those ads.
Oh, I couldn't, Kenny. They're going to have 10 people at the rest of their home games.
I disagree. Well, here's what I would do if I was the Twins in order to not have 10 people. You virtually admitted to your fan base that you've raised a white flag. Mm-hmm. Well, you ought to lower the prices.
Agreed. Totally agree.
Lower the damn ticket prices and fill the ballpark.
But wouldn't an argument against that be they did this because they're broke and they don't have any money and
Yes.
they can't, and now they can't afford to lower the prices?
Well, let me put it this way. I don't want to get into a big math deal because we're not allowed to do math. But would you rather have 5,000 people in there paying full price or 20,000 people at a discounted ticket?
I can't argue that.
What they should do, I don't necessarily even think it's the ticket price that gets in the way.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
But it's the concession price that drives many people
and I'd
away.
knock off this $18 beer BS.
Do what Colorado did. Colorado is hot garbage. And they basically
sell out.
Because what they did was they said to the fans, hey, from 2 hours before first pitch to the first pitch, they sell beers for $3 in that brand new double-deck outdoor bowl. Yes. And they get a ton of people there for the game.
So then what happens is you get so drunk by the time the game starts, you don't mind paying $18 for beer after that.
You got to have another beer.
That's brilliant.
My concern for tickets goes way back to the primitive times with Calvin, and I would cover these games with virtually empty left field bleachers. And I thought, why doesn't he sell those seats for $1 a piece?
Sure.
You're going to make your money on beer and hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
What if you put $15,000? There's $15,000 you didn't have before.
That wouldn't have come in anyway. Yep.
Or 50 cents. I don't understand the thinking.
And it's just the optics of the way that the fan base now just views not only ownership, but now the organization. It's really bad. The Twins are in a lot of trouble. They really are.
Can the Pohlad family bounce back?
No, absolutely not.
It's just you got to sell.
They have to sell. They absolutely have to. And it won't change. The apathy towards this organization will not change until there's new ownership. It just won't.
So let's say Glenn Taylor buys him. What's he going to do to turn? And I'm just pulling that name out of a hat.
Sure.
A rich guy, I know.
Sure.
What would the new owners do to get the crowds back?
Well, put a better product on the field. And I know it's an unpopular take, but the way that small or medium market size franchises have to have sustained success in Major League Baseball is you've got to have a lot of good, young, controllable talent. That's cheap. And that's what they did.
You think they just went out and got.
100%.
Yeah.
So then this offseason, you can now go get a different, but I don't know that they're going to be able to do that this offseason. That's the only problem.
You're awfully quiet here.
All I'm thinking of is yesterday I had this conversation with a friend of mine. What if you were a season ticket holder going into this season?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. This would be a playoff year. Here we go. And now you're stuck with that season ticket, and you're just going.
I bet they're going to have the lowest renewal rate from a season ticket standpoint than they've had since they moved to Target Field.
What if you were where I was the other night, where the guy I know has got 4 tickets to the Champions Club, and paying that every single game would just drive me crazy.
What you're going to tell that guy is, Reavers would love to take those tickets off your hands.
Okay, I'm available. All right.
You got a lot of buddies.
As an ownership entity, the Pohlad family has never really established a presence.
Carl did. I would say Carl did, but after Carl,
the current group is not.
Yes.
Glenn Taylor and his wife are at courtside every single Timberwolves game. People get to know them. And he's in touch. He hears what's happening. He knows what's happening. I don't even. Who's the current Pohlad in charge?
Can I walk?
I'm not done yet.
Yeah, it's Joe.
Is the current Pohlad Joe?
Yes.
He could walk into this studio right here, and I wouldn't know him.
Well, I would.
He's a younger kid.
I would, only because I worked for him for a very short period of time, and I was going to say at least Carl at least won 2 championships, so he had that to bank on. And when Jim took over, they moved into the new field, and they still had the reputation of being cheap, but for the most part, they had a decent product on the field, or they at least tried to put a decent product on the field. What Joe Pohlad has done to this organization is laughable.
Well, I don't know what he's done. That's my point.
He's an absolute joke, Joe Pohlad is. And it's because when they tried to do this retransformation with the logo and with the uniforms and everything else, they didn't care about the product. And Joe Pohlad's a disgrace to this organization.
All right.
I guess I'm not getting those tickets.
That's fun. I love hearing that.
I don't even think I'd go to the ballpark.
Joe Pohlad ran the radio station into the ground that he was in charge of.
Oh, it's that guy.
It's that guy.
Okay, well,
and then they put him in charge of the
then.
baseball team, and he made it an absolute laughing stock.
Yeah.
He's an embarrassment to that family.
What did they buy the Twins from Kelvin? What was the amount?
Not a lot.
60, because remember, Trump almost bought the Twins.
Trump offered $55 million.
I think it was 60 or 70. I can look it up.
Okay, then why? I mean, at this point, your family has landed on their feet, is well cared for generations. Are we just missing a price here?
It's everything else that they own. They're really heavy into commercial real estate, and they're drowning in that debt right now.
Plus, it's always easy for the unwashed, us among them, to spend billionaires' money.
True.
Yeah.
True.
For all I know, they're going to be living in a double wide 3 weeks from now.
I would think not.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Joe Polad and I are so close that he just didn't respond to the last text I gave him a couple weeks ago. I forget what about. We were trying to get somebody on the air. He just said,
I got a nice note from the Florida Panhandle trucker.
Okay.
Aaron. The Florida Panhandle trucker reporting in here from Pensacola, home of the Blue Angels. Just a thought, he's referencing to the Blue Angel kerfuffle out in Seattle. The Blue Angels do at least 2 practices a week here and at least a welcome home low flyover down Pensacola Beach on Sundays as they return from other air shows around the country. There is also 2 big air shows they do each year over Pensacola Beach and the Naval Air Station. Does it get noisy? Sure. But the practices are usually about an hour long, give or take a half hour. But even people who have lived here their entire lives never get tired of it. The people here are proud of the Blue Angels. On days of the local actual air shows, if you aren't there by 5 a.m., you aren't getting a spot. Not a parking spot, not a place on the beach, nothing. And once you are there, you ain't getting out until late that evening, long after the shows are over. The Angels usually fly at about 2 p.m. Now, with all this activity, you'd think Pensacola would have about the worst air quality on the planet, and every child and person would be deaf. It's not so. Our air is clean, our Gulf water and beaches are clean, and the children listen just fine. How could that be? Keep pushing back, Aaron, the Florida Panhandle trucker. Well, Pensacola is a Navy town, so I can understand why the locals would be thrilled. And I would be too. I'd make it. If I lived there, I'd make sure my lawn chair was somewhere near the beach on Sunday afternoons just to watch them fly home.
You just got an amen.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Over the beach.
How big of a city is that?
Not too big.
Okay.
The Twins were sold in '84 for $44 million.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that low.
Oh, my God.
They're valued at $1.7 billion.
Well, then the Poleheads, they've made money.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you're not rich, because you don't know how to do it.
And here's the thing. When they put this clown in charge of that operation, I didn't think it was going to get this bad, but I thought we were exchanging texts with people that had worked for Joe before. We went, oh, God, is this a bad idea?
Okay, I'm going to try to prevent you from getting yourself in too deep of a hole.
What do I care?
A lot of what you're talking about you don't know anything about.
Sure.
B, how much blame are you going to put on the analytical brain trust that was brought in?
Joe?
Derek Falvey and who's the other guy?
Well, it was Thad Levine, but he is now.
He
left somewhere. I can't remember. I can't remember the guy's name.
And again, I'm not going to rip Falvey because I don't know what he does. But I'm so far, if he's doing anything, I'm unimpressed.
Well, he's getting orders, is what this is.
Okay, who's giving him the orders?
Ownership.
Well, Joe Polad, who has served on the Polad Company's board of directors since 23.
How old is he? About 19?
He's my age,
He
actually.
was named executive chair of the Twins in November of 22. He provides day-to-day leadership, oversight, and strategic guidance for the Twins baseball and business operations.
Joe, they had their first playoff series victory 18 months ago in
I'm
2023.
very aware of that, yeah.
And they had packed crowds. And this clown, after the season was over, said, we're reducing payroll.
Yeah.
He publicly said that.
You know what else it alerts you to? Maybe being a billionaire isn't enough anymore to own a sports team.
That's a good point, yeah.
And that, maybe $1 billion is rapidly becoming what $1 million used to be.
You know what we
used to be a show on TV. You're too young to remember it. Wasn't it just called The Millionaire? And some screwball worked for a rich guy, and the rich guy would sort through requests for money, and he'd say, I want you to visit Helen Schultz in Cincinnati. She needs $1 million. Remember that show, John? Who wants to?
I don't. I think that was even a little before my time.
The Millionaire. Look it up, Rook.
All right.
And then they'd go and knock on, and at the time, those of us watching, $1 million might as well have been $1 billion. That was how impressive $1 million was.
Was that before color TV? It might have been, huh?
Yeah,
No,
I got 3Y.
I think it was.
Jeez.
I think it was in color.
You are old, Joe.
What?
It was before I was born.
What year was it on?
55 to 60.
So it was before color TV.
I guess Kenny was right.
Yeah, you know what we could have done?
What was it called? The Millionaire?
The Millionaire.
Who was the star?
Regis Philbin.
No.
That's all that comes up for me.
Michael Anthony Marvin Miller, it says. Hands check to Betty Perkins.
Whatever.
Oh, so it had actors. I thought it was like a game show.
Oh no! It was a
Drama.
A drama.
Yeah, okay. The guy's name was Michael Anthony.
Yeah.
In the show.
He had slick black hair.
That's him.
Yeah.
What we could have done was just taken all that fraud money and bought the twins.
Right. I wish we would have.
Boy, there's been a lot of fraud money. Yeah.
Way to go, Reavers.
Sorry.
We were having a really fun
I was
Friday.
going along pretty good.
Now,
Anti-fraud
back to the
Friday.
anchor.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn that into,
Chris.
Why don't we just take a little time?
Anti-fraud Friday.
Yes, sir.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
That is a nice bump. I just have one quick update. As is the custom when we reference that McLaren is in labor right now. And as is our custom when somebody does have a baby, we're going to be speaking with Takiro Kobayashi a little bit later on in the show, who will describe what's going on in the birthing room, I think. That might be
Speaking of that,
happening.
Do we have a name in mind for this child?
Joseph Henry
Okay.
II. If you're going to sponsor this kid, we figured we might as well
That's a
throw you
really
one.
good idea.
Grade school, high school.
I'm late to the well, no, I'm going to start with something else. I wanted to tell you something. Here are today's teasers.
Here are today's.
Further proof that we're just played like the saps we are. Here are the subheads just on the Drudge Report. You could garner some of the same from the New York Post and other sites. FBI redacted the Don's name in Epstein files. Second head. Dead men tell no tales. Third head. Claim. DOJ hiding 4,725 wire transfers. Senator exposes on YouTube. Fifth head. Ghislaine, whatever the hell her name is. Ghislaine quietly moved from Florida to Texas. And finally, lowest level security prison. Those are today's, you know what they're called? These are, okay, Kenny. That's what these are. They're okay Kennys. Okay, Kenny.
Okay, Kenny.
Nothing will come of this. Something's going on in the world.
Okay, Kenny.
Something's going on in the world that we're not party to. We have no clue what the hell's going on.
You mean by the media or just
No,
in
just
general?
Everything.
The way the government works. First of all, the government doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't function correctly. I'll give you an example.
All right.
Okay,
I.e.,
I'm late to this. You guys are telling me we've covered this before. I'm unaware of it. The Biden administration incentivized the sex trafficking of unaccompanied migrant children while paying billions of tax dollars to non-governmental organizations that were supposed to protect them. Let me read that again. The Biden administration incentivized sex trafficking of unaccompanied kids while paying billions of dollars to people who were supposed to prevent that. I'm not done. That's what Alicia Hopper, the president of Guard Against Trafficking, testified at a House Homeland Security meeting on July 16th. The meeting was called An Inside Job, How NGOs, non-governmental organizations, facilitated the Biden border crisis. According to Hopper, the Biden administration's lax oversight of federally funded NGOs, not dissimilar to what happens in this state, the lack of oversight, enabled the widespread human trafficking and sexual abuse of unaccompanied migrant children whose calls for help went ignored. In one chilling exchange, Republican Representative Eli Crane of Arizona asked if the Biden administration had put any safeguards in place to monitor the well-being of the children after they were placed with a sponsor via taxpayer-funded non-governmental organizations. Hopper, this woman with this Guard Against Trafficking group, Hopper said a hotline had been set up so the children could report abuse or call if they needed help. However, only one employee was assigned to answer the calls from August of 2023 to January of 2025. As a result, 65,000 calls went unanswered. One of the missed calls was from a boy who had reported that grown men were coming into his room at night and they were touching him. Nothing happened with that call, Hopper testified. Eli Crane from Arizona, said, wait a minute. So you're telling me that the Biden administration, you're telling this committee that the Biden administration, while they were letting all of these unaccompanied minors into the country, and as we talked about, they weren't keeping track of them, they issued these kids a hotline so they could call if they had trouble with the sponsor family that they were put with. And you're saying that 65,000 calls to this hotline designated to protect these kids went unanswered. Is that what you're telling this committee? The congressman asked her. Yes, sir, Hopper replied. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Hopper said the boy who had reported being molested under the Biden administration has since been rescued, thanks to Trump. At another point, Crane asked Hopper if it was easier for a sponsor to take custody of an unaccompanied child than it was to adopt a dog. Hopper said yes. You actually have to provide more paperwork to adopt a pet than you did to sponsor a child, she noted. The slipshod process was why more than 300,000 migrant children are currently unaccounted for.
Oh, my God.
Yesterday, Hopper told Fox News host Laura Ingraham that migrant children are often sex trafficked to unscrupulous pimps who drug them so they could be raped by paying pedophiles.
Jeez.
Hopper understood that these pedophile rings operate across the U.S. and potentially in your neighborhoods. In short, unfettered illegal immigration erodes public safety, incentivizes runaway crime, and wastes billions of tax dollars. The migrant crisis that has been allowed to fester for decades has sweeping negative consequences for all Americans. It is a deep-rooted problem that's not limited solely to border states or to left-wing cities. It affects all of us because we're all paying for it one way or another. Well, if 50% of that story is true, it's a knockout story. If 75% of it is true, it's criminal. If 100% of it is true, there are people who should be facing serious time in prison, including Biden. Mean to tell me that you set up a hotline for all of these unaccompanied kids, but you didn't staff the hotline?
One person.
One person.
Who I'm sure was working a 40-hour
And well,
work
in
week.
what age are these kids that they would have been, they had the wherewithal to use a hotline? What if they were 6 years old, 7 years old?
Right.
Some of this doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, how did they even get here without adult supervision to begin with?
Yeah.
You know what strikes me, Joe? Remember the conversation we had a couple of years ago with the sheriff in Arizona, Mark Lamb?
Yeah.
And what struck me when you were reading that, because Mike and I discussed this a little bit yesterday, but what struck me is remember his words saying the people that don't want this border wall, the people that don't want the security for this country, they have zero idea what they're talking about. And he had firsthand knowledge of these cartels basically using these kids as bait to get them across the border.
Yeah.
And they were just basically ditched once they got to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
What a just horrific situation.
In a note related to yesterday's show, we were wondering, what Minneapolis is going to look like 30 years from now, 20 years from now. The old Palmer's Bar has been sold to a mosque, which is kind of a cultural sea change.
We learned yesterday they're not probably going to keep it as a bar.
No adjustments.
This fellow must remain anonymous, but I trust what I'm reading. On Thursday's podcast, you asked the question, what will Minneapolis look like in 30 years with the influx of Somali residents? I can't help but think that the following anecdote is relevant to the question. I work for a large local healthcare company. It's no secret that we are bleeding money. Numerous news stories have drawn attention to this, and it's all hands on deck, finding ways to staunch the flow of cash and find new sources of revenue. In the meantime, a large initiative is in progress at our organization with the goal of serving culturally sensitive food to patients of non-European descent. I can only imagine the cost of planning the initiative, never mind the cost of implementing it. Every day I watch longtime colleagues kicked to the curb. Benefits are being cut, hiring freezes, pitiful pay increases. But at least I have the solace of knowing that a Somali patient will never be subjected to the indignity of being served a non-halal meal while receiving the best medical care available in the world. I would argue that my organization is a microcosm of what Minnesota will look like in 30 years if it doesn't already. Rending our garments over past sins, bending over backwards to accommodate people who fled here to escape genuine horrors. In gratitude, we incur tremendous expense and watch our own neighborhoods gradually become precisely what our new arrivals left behind. By the way, I'm disappointed in your staff, especially Rookie. During your discussion, you asked if there are any Muslim bars in Minneapolis. I'm disappointed that Rook didn't say, yes, there's that new Somali saloon on Hennepin Avenue, Allah Akbar.
Allah Akbar?
Get it? Akbar. Allah Akbar.
Get it? Bar? Yeah. Bar. Well, continue your disappointment.
And Krista from Western Maryland referred.
Wait, I have one.
Thank you. Ken.
One, I don't know if this is a legitimate point or not, but won't things change with, say, the Somali community when their kids and the kids of their kids grow up? Won't those kids and grandkids be more Americanized?
Ooh.
Not in this failed academy.
Well, wait a minute, Joe. As were the German kids, the Italian, Irish, Swedish, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely
I mean,
not.
I'm
really?
nothing.
I
well,
think
wait a
I'm
minute.
agreeing with Kenny.
I am nothing like my great-great-grandpa who came here from Sweden. I'm nothing like him. Other than I'm short and fat and stubborn, that's it.
Kenny, what you're saying is the kids that are growing up and they're in the school system, maybe not this first generation, but the next generation when they get some of the perks of being American.
Okay, hold it. Hold it.
I'm going to hold it.
Haven't you guys been paying attention?
No.
I have been, and I've been thinking this the whole time and afraid to bring it up.
Today's Minneapolis, let's just take Minneapolis. Today's Minneapolis public school is absolutely dedicated to the proposition of allowing these kids to maintain their own culture and not even reasonably assimilate. The whole thing is different than 1955 or when a German immigrant came over here in the early part of the 20th century. The automatic assumption was the instant assimilation and do the best you can to become an American. Today, we have an education system that Walz also was in charge of that has absolutely failed miserably in that mission. They not only have failed, it's by design. They want these kids to maintain. We've become so balkanized that the American flag, we're allowing that to trigger these kids. Who are you kidding? The schools are not doing what they used to do. The Somali kids will not only cling to their culture, they'll be encouraged to. That's my answer to you. We have not seen any evidence to the contrary. None.
I think you got it. Once the word gets out on Halloween, free candy, Christmas, you get presents.
And I'm thinking the kids that I see wearing the head stuff in the schools.
The hijabs?
Aren't they doing that because their parents make them? And when they go off to college at, NDSU or points further west, aren't they going to put that in the closet and only put it on when mom and dad come to visit? I'm just thinking the way, Joe, I'm thinking the way kids think.
Haven't you seen pictures of college campuses with all the gals wearing their hijabs?
That's what I was just going to say. I don't
know how you guys have been missing this.
We're not missing
One of our problems is that the Mysterians are doing a wonderful job of disabusing newcomers to the idea that America is even worth appreciating.
I would agree with that. And I think that is the now, but the future down the road
What makes you think the future is going to get better?
Kids want the easy way out.
Oh, I wish.
An innocent question has got him enraged.
Yeah,
if I was there, you would punch me right in the face.
No. I find it fascinating that you might be reflecting the attitudes of many Minnesotans who just assume all this is going to work itself out. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
No, it's not. We're going the other way. We're going the other direction.
I'm here to do what I just did, to get you pissed off.
Poke the bear?
It's not even that I'm angry. I'm astonished that you've been just apparently monitoring courses at the University of Garage Logic and not turning in your work. You've been auditing them. I think that's what it's called.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pat myself on the back.
I hate to
God almighty. Christmas is frowned on, although they'll take the time off. Easter's frowned on. They'll take the time off. We have to have a winter solstice celebration. The kids of Somali descent probably practice more Somaliism in school than they do Americanism.
Joe, I'll back you up because, Kenny, what takes place how many times a day? We have the public call to prayer.
You got the bell
right
ringing.
here in our own backyard.
Hey, you guys are really...
Yeah,
they start out with 7 times, but then it's like, I did it half an hour ago.
Rookham, I know you have a lot of other things in your mind today.
Prayer.
But I gotta say I'm a little disappointed in you.
How so?
You didn't say a bleep that word too.
Balkanize.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You're slipping in your game.
There's something easier that could be used, I think.
That has something to do with the Vulcans?
Yeah, Star Trek.
And I guarantee you if...
the pointy ears... The Spock thing.
If you're here, if there was 15 students from Tonga, they would go through the public school system in Minneapolis worshiping Tonga without learning a bleeping thing about America. The Mysterians are in charge, and they are disabusing children of even liking this country.
So even Ugandans.
There you are.
Okay. Kamala.
Balkanization, Joe, is the process involving the fragmentation of an area, country, or region into multiple smaller and hostile units. Balkanization.
F that word. Do not use that again, please.
Now, seriously, see, that's the problem with the American education system, that you guys have no idea what that means. What the hell?
Wait a minute.
I do.
Well, okay, Kenny and Joe and I do, apparently.
Yes, it's the balkanization.
Yes, let us treat those people differently.
Have you ever heard of the Balkans?
Yes, who are the Balkans?
Joe, don't bother.
Why am I even
Live long
bothering?
and prosper.
Why am I bothering?
Thank you.
Right here.
Balkanize.
Let's take a time out and bring
let's
John.
keep going. Come on.
Yeah.
I want to talk balkanization.
Yes.
Okay.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Here's John Heidt.
Why, thank you, Joe.
John Height's going to pass it to Kenny Olson.
Oh, go ahead, Kenny.
Big weekend for closures. And
I don't take my headphones off.
I don't think we've ever had this many closures. Let's start with eastbound 694. That's being shut down between Brooklyn Boulevard in Brooklyn Center over to Snelling in Arden Hills, 10 p.m. today, 5 a.m. Monday. Highway 5, both directions between Eden Prairie Road and Mitchell Road. Westbound 94 from downtown St. Paul over to Highway 280. Southbound 35E from University through the Capitol Interchange and all the way down to 494. And finally, Highway 52 from Concord over the Lafayette up to 94. Now, those are on the schedule from 10 p.m. today until 5 a.m. on Monday. Also closing Sunday only, there's a festival that's shutting down Snelling Avenue between University and Energy Park. That runs 8 a.m. until 11 p.m. on Sunday. And then one thing to keep in mind, the reversible Easy Pass lanes of 394 between 100 and 94, those are closed until November.
Energy Park Drive to University, that's a long stretch.
It's some kind of festival. I know nothing about it.
It's
That's
about
all.
10 blocks.
Okay.
Kenny, I just have a brief question.
No,
Much like
no
what
questions.
you did to Joe in the prior segment.
No questions.
No questions.
Well, I have just...
Why?
Why?
I don't work for McDonald's.
Because they got to get work done.
Kenny, is 52 both ways?
Yes, on the Lafayette.
That affects me.
Yep.
All right. Well,
So
good
what's
luck.
interesting,
Good
Matthew,
luck.
let's say you do make it into the metro via northbound 35E. How are you going to get home?
I'm going to have to find my... I'm going to have to
You're
work
going to
my
have to
way
go
to
over
Concord.
to... Yeah, you're going to have to... Yeah,
Everything will
Concord,
work out.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
John
Highbridge
Thank you
or
for that.
Robert.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Dang.
Thanks, Joe. And I think I did this, but if so, we'll just give them a double shot today. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Let's start with a sports note. We already talked a bit about it. The Twins gutting their entire team leading up to the MLB trade deadline. They got rid of, this is a good number, 40% of their roster pretty much. 40%.
40%.
40%. That includes, the most staggering part to me, their entire bullpen is gone. And it was a pretty good bullpen, but it's all gone now. In return, they received a lot of prospects, some with lots of potential, some that were at best questionable. Among them, as we talked about, Matt Mikulski received in return for Carlos Correa. Correa goes back to Houston. That trade basically showing up as a salary dump. Mikulski is a 26-year-old pitcher who's stuck in A-ball right now.
Yeah, if you're 26
That
and
sounds
an
about
A-ball,
right.
you're going to be playing for the Faribault Lakers
If
pretty
it's a
soon.
salary dump, why do the Twins have to pay part of his salary?
Because that's how unwilling people were to take on that contract.
Okay.
And he also had a no trade clause in his contract, and the only team he was going to agree to that was Houston.
Well, how much of the salary will Houston assume?
The Twins are going to pay 33 of the 103 left on his deal, so
Oh, that's
around
not so
70.
bad. So they save some money.
Right.
So if you're an advertiser for radio or TV, you would have paid in advance, correct?
Yes.
So you paid all that money, and now you're not going to have any listeners and or viewers watching or hearing about your product.
And honestly, Ken, I think that also factored into this because the renewal rate for that, I heard somewhere along the line that was also going to be going down for next season as well, which is another troubling sign.
Do we know how long the ball club, no matter who owns it, is locked into playing in Minneapolis?
Wasn't it a 30-year lease?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Don't ask with the question.
It was a 30-year lease when they opened Target Field.
Because that's another thing the Twin Cities has to start worrying about is losing these clubs as the cities decline.
Including the Wolves. The Wolves are probably going to be moving out of the city.
We need a local buyer.
Yeah.
I did see a note, too. I was wondering about, Buxton, Joe Ryan, basically the stars left on the team. And apparently Derek Fulvey met today with Buxton to explain or try to explain exactly what their thoughts are.
Here's what we're thinking.
We can't keep getting you hurt.
Here's what we're thinking.
So, Mikulski, when's the last time you actually picked up and threw a baseball?
It has been decades.
1979.
It had to have been. I didn't even do it with Little League.
Well, I was going to say you had to play catch with your kid. at some. Oh God,
he refused.
Do you think if
Kept
you
hitting
were
me in the face,
if you were called upon to throw out the first pitch, do you think you could get it to home plate?
no.
I don't think I
would
could
roll it.
either.
I'd go the comedy roll.
I will now proudly say that when Mr. Souchere was asked, he asked me to throw the first pitch out for the Twins, and I made it to home plate.
But that was about 20 years ago.
But you
Yeah, it was a long
played, too.
time ago.
You know how to throw a baseball. I don't.
Here's John Heidt.
Well, thank you, Joe. In news, update from yesterday, 25 people taken to local hospitals after that Delta flight had to divert from the airport here because of what was called significant turbulence have all been released from the hospital. Federal Aviation Administration confirming the flight was headed from Salt Lake City International Airport to Amsterdam when the crew reported severe turbulence and diverted here. Allied Health announcing it'll close 4 clinic locations before the end of the year, describing the decision as one of balancing space and resources. They'll be closing clinics in Invergrove Heights, Maplewood, Oakdale, and at the Nicollet Mall starting November 1st. Allied Health said it would assist patients in transitioning their care to try to make the change to a new location as seamless as possible. The service provider also said it was in the process of contacting patients with provider availability, new clinic locations, and additional updates related to the clinic's closures. A statue bust of local gymnast gold medal Olympian Suni Lee is missing. Someone stole the piece from the pedal it sits on at Lake Phelan in St. Paul sometime in the last day, according to St. Paul police. The brass statue and nameplate both taken. If you have any information, you were asked to call the St. Paul Police Department. The bust was unveiled about 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, July 30th, 2023. Minneapolis Park Police said one person arrested this morning after a shooting that injured 2 people near the Stone Arch Bridge. According to Park Police, officers called to the Stone Arch Bridge around 12:48 this morning for a shooting. Upon arrival, they found 2 women with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. Both declined medical transport. A suspect later identified and arrested. Yesterday, remember, we talked about new Minnesota laws going into effect today? Mm-hmm. Here's one going into effect in North Dakota that may interest Minnesotans who are heading west. The miles per hour you can go is increasing to 80 miles an hour.
All right.
Speed limit now in North Dakota will be 80 miles an hour on 94. Legislature made that change this session after years of failed attempts. The Department of Transportation told the North Dakota Monitor that the signs will not start going up until Monday. It'll probably take about 2 weeks before they get them all up, but they said it's legal to drive the new speed as of today. You do need to watch, though, if you are in a school zone or a construction zone. The fines for speeding have increased. For a construction zone, the minimum fee jumped from $80 to $150 for a violation.
Is there a stretch of freeway in Montana where there is no speed limit, or is that folklore?
No, it used to be that way, but they had to change it back. They were it was due to federal highway funding.
All right.
They were refused funding, but for a while it was a free state.
Okay.
My question is, why can't we do that here in Minnesota after Fergus Falls on 94, where things flatten out and stretch out and it's mostly straight? And the same with I-90 from even 35 all the way over to South Dakota. It's fairly straight.
Did you were you hit on the head last night or this morning? Or,
what do you mean?
Well, this is the second time he's displaying a complete ignorance of where he happens to be. This is Minnesota. You think they're going to increase the speed limit? What, are you not paying attention to anything?
No, I'm with Joe now.
Okay, Kenny.
We've balkanized again.
This is okay, Kenny here. I mean, what's going on?
Well, didn't they raise it a few years ago from 70 to 75? So...
No, it's not 75.
There's nowhere in this state.
Oh, wait, that's
75.
North Dakota.
55 to
Yeah, I'm
70.
sorry. That's the old North Dakota.
South Dakota has been 80 for quite some time.
Well, let's not worry about South
Joe, it's
Dakota
just-
because South Dakota didn't come up in the conversation.
You never go to Fargo. I go to Fargo all the time, and it drives me crazy. It should be 80,
Yeah.
and I think that constantly. It drives me nuts.
And Kenny, you're right. Right where you hit that spot, you basically are entering the same kind of thing as North Dakota.
Well,
Yeah,
what you
it's-
want and what you get in this state are two different things.
Two different things.
My mother had a different way of saying that I can't really repeat on the air. So.
All right.
Well, let's move along to
But if you're
national-
going 80, I'm just kidding. On the freeway, you're not likely to get stopped, are you?
Let's don't overdo the bit.
Gotcha.
National,
One step too many?
National news. U.S. stocks sinking this morning after President Trump officially hit virtually every U.S. trading partner with sweeping tariff hikes, while the June jobs report showed signs of a labor market slowdown. U.S. employers added a disappointing 73,000 jobs in July as payroll growth slowed amid President Trump's sweeping import tariffs, intensifying immigration crackdown, and massive federal layoffs. Even more concerning, job gains for May and June were revised down by a whopping...
Did you respond?
Yes, 258,000 people, portraying a much weaker labor market than believed in late spring and early summer. As for the tariffs, President Trump signing an executive order yesterday imposing new tariffs on imports from 68 countries and the 27-member European Union, set to take effect now at August 7th. That's a new deadline again. That was originally set for today. The latest batch of levies will range from 10% on countries where the U.S. exports more goods than it gets. Separately, the Trump administration increased tariffs on Canada to 35% from 25%, while Mexico struck a temporary deal with the U.S. to maintain current rates for another 90 days. Another not-so-good sign for the economy this morning, U.S. factory activity contracted in July at the fastest pace in 9 months, dragged down by the faster decline in employment as orders continued to shrink. The Institute for Supply Management's manufacturing index decreased 1 point last month. The gauge has been below 50, which indicates contraction for 5 straight months. Russian missile and drone attacks overnight on Ukraine's capital city killed at least 13 people, including several children, and wounded 132 others, according to authorities. Russia fired 309 Shahed and Decoy drones and 8 Islander K cruise missiles overnight into Thursday. Ukrainian Air Force said Ukrainian Air Force has intercepted and jammed 288 strike zones and 3 missiles. 5 missiles and 21 drones did hit their targets in Ukraine. The removal of President Trump from an exhibit about impeachments at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History is sparking a bit of a backlash. The museum removed references to Trump's 2 impeachments from a part of the museum that deals with impeachments. The publication, the Washington Post, said this was because of a content review the museum agreed to amid pressure from the administration to remove a museum director. The museum did tell the Washington Post future exhibits will reference Trump's impeachments. Trump was impeached twice during the first term in office, but in both cases acquitted by the Senate. Content about the impeachments had been displayed since September 2021 alongside info about the impeachment threats to former Presidents Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, and Richard Nixon, according to publication.
Walz should be impeached for dereliction of duty.
President Trump yesterday reestablishing the presidential fitness test for American children, a fixture of public schools for decades that gauged young people's health and athleticism with 1-mile runs, sit-ups, and stretching exercises. Trump saying this is a wonderful tradition and we're bringing it back. The test began in 1966 but was phased out during the Obama administration. An executive order that he signed Thursday also reinvigorates a national sports council that the president stocked with former and current athletes and other figures from the sports world. Lawmakers in El Salvador abolished presidential term limits on Thursday, paving the way for President Nayib Bukele, who has aided President Trump's deportation efforts and whose government has jailed tens of thousands in its crackdown on gangs and civil rights groups. The change was among several amendments to the country's constitution approved by the National Assembly, where Mr. Bukele's party holds a super majority. You'll be happy to know, or maybe you won't, that we now know where potatoes come from.
Idaho.
Ireland.
The findings of a new study show that potatoes are the result of an ancient, here's a word for you, Rook, hybridization event.
Hybrid?
It happened in the foothills of the Andes. Researchers found that the first ancestors of the staple root vegetable likely appeared about 9 million years ago, when ancestors of today's tomato plants hybridized with those of another group. So the potato comes from the tomato.
And that always makes me think of the phenomenon of being the first to eat something.
God, thank you, because as soon as I wrote this story, I thought to myself, Joe and I are going to talk about.
I mean, there's a guy, he's walking along the caves there, and there's this thing growing on
funny-looking rock.
This weird-looking thing, and he goes, you know what? I think I'm going to take a bite out of it.
Yeah.
How did that work?
Walking along the cave way of life.
Yeah, he had the little service road there.
And then he goes over to
Got his
Grox.
arms behind his back.
Says, have you tried one of these?
Yeah, he says, yeah, but I fire mine up. I cook mine.
You cooked yours.
That's why I try this.
That's a tuber, my friend.
Yeah.
Tuber, it's funny, Kenny, you bring that up, but a tuber is the other plant that the tomatoes mated with, shall we say, hybridized with.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a tuber.
Wandered outside the family.
Yeah.
But the
My
tomato
potatoes usually just
grows
sit
on
there.
a vine above ground, and the potato, of course.
Correct.
You know, the
Under
guy
it.
sitting on the bank of a stream with the loincloth on, and he sees fish.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he crudely waddles in there and captures one with his hands. And he says, I think I'm going to try to eat this.
So it's kind of scary.
That would bother me to be the first one to eat something.
I am so glad that you do this because people in my family make fun of me constantly for bringing that up.
Who would think to eat a fish?
Yeah, anything.
Think about the guys that cooked it for the first time before they were eating raw venison.
Yeah.
Right off the bone.
Yeah, no thanks.
One fell in the fire. They pulled it out.
Oh, this tastes pretty good.
I'm eating it anyway. I don't care if it's been in the fire. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And then they got the
world
joke, hey, man, leave it in there a little bit longer. I want that thing like a hockey puck.
I need to see it bleed.
Did he respond? Yeah, because I just fired off a memo to him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
How about this, John?
Let's take a break and bring on Heidt.
Wait. How about a plant that on
Reusse.
top grows a tomato, but underground a potato is growing?
It'd be a twofer, wouldn't
A
it?
twofer.
Yeah, it'd be great.
A twofer tuber.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Joe.
We're going to go back to this Twins debacle here in a moment. Hey, William Klopp. Hey, Pat.
Yes, sir.
Have we established that this was a major league record for trading or just a Twins record?
I bet it's probably a major league record. 11, making what would they get rid of 11 or brought in 11? Made 8 trades and brought in 11. I mean, I can't go back to the Philadelphia A's in 1913, but I've never seen anything like it.
Isn't it something?
Unbelievable. We even got the rookie. We traded for Matt's a lefty too, isn't he?
Yep.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's a lefty too. Matt Mikulski. We got him for Carlos Correa for man alive. That's
we got him for a guy who's stuck in A ball at the age of 26.
26. Yes, I was looking up his bio, and I was looking for injuries that have delayed him, but I can't find any.
Pat, I joked about this, but is he more likely to pitch at Target Field or for the Faribault Lakers?
Yes, one of the two. He's it is incredible. He was a Fordham. He was an All-American from Fordham, but he was like 5'11" and 220, and all of a sudden he was 6'4". And I don't know. I was looking him up. He was an interesting character, but A-ball at 26. I wonder if there's an official rule that you can't just buy. You just can't buy your way out if you actually have to take a player back too, or something. Because they gave him $33 million to make the trade, but they got out with what? They got out of $71 million. I think they owed him $104 million. And Jim Crane made the trade. Jim Crane called up. It was not going to get done, and then Jim Crane, the owner, called up. By the way, not Joe Pohlad, Jim Pohlad, and they made the trade for Carlos to go back there. Could Carlos have been any more pompous as he left, too, by the way?
Pat, he always struck me as disinterested.
I think he played 60-70% of the time, but
that's disinterest.
He was certainly disinterested in, it was always, he always kind of gave you the bad vibe of how pompous he was.
Yeah.
And then I think they were going to get rid of him anyway. But the end of the trail for Griffin Jacks, the way it sounds, is he got Correa to go into the manager's office with him to talk to Rocco about the incidents after the game Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon, and I think they got really down on Jacks.
What was the incident?
Emotionally. Well, he put him in to pitch the ninth inning of a blowout game, and then the first three batters got on base, and he didn't have any outs. And then they brought in Cody Clemens to pitch. The reason being, you can't use a position player until you're 8 runs behind. So the reason he switched, and I guess Rocco chewed him out about that, and for being a jackass on the mound. And then I don't know, they were kind of down on him, I guess. So
Jax is gone too.
Jax is gone. Well, Louis Varlet is the one I can't believe.
Me either.
Anybody believe that?
Yeah. He's making nothing.
You know when he's a free agent? 2031. What are they doing? I don't know. And of all the players they got 11 players yesterday. 11 in the trades. One is coming to the big leagues. This Roden, an outfielder, another left-handed hitting outfielder, just what they need, right? So,
Pat, what's your serious, deep take on this? What happened?
I would like to be more knowledgeable on this. I cannot believe that it can't be. I can't believe that if they're getting a new owner and is going to pay $1.8 billion, the new owner would want to trim down payroll. So is it them thinking they're still months away from selling the team, and therefore they want to save $10 million over the last 2 months of the season or something? I'm not sure how much cash it would have been that they would have saved, but the Correa thing, if they're selling the team, that's their $33 million that's being spent there to get out of it. So they're not gonna. I don't know what's going on. It could be all part of a thing, something that they're talking to new owners or something. I have no idea what's going on, but it certainly has secured the Pohlad family reputation for future generations.
It really has.
Yeah, it has.
Which is a shame. They essentially saved baseball for Minnesota.
Yeah, won a couple of World Series. And now remember, they did this in 1999 with the contraction threat, and the payroll went down to $16 million one year. Then they did it, but that's when Carl was still alive. Ebenezer Scrooge was still alive. So it's kind of a surprise to me. But when Joe Pohlad went out to the Mall of America and told us it was a whole new era of Twins baseball, he was right. This just is not how we defined it, I think. But it's I am trying to write a column here that Major League has come to life. The movie Rachel Phelps could be the new
my God,
owner
yes.
of the team. Yes, she could be the new owner of the Twins. And
Pat, you know what it tells me? Maybe $1 billion isn't enough anymore to own a team.
Yeah. Oh no, God no, it's not enough to own it. Oh, you mean to be a billionaire? Just a one billionaire? No,
yeah.
You gotta have 6 or 7 of those. This Ishbia had 5, and he was the poorer brother. The other brother had 15.
Yeah.
So you need 4 or 5. Then you need a couple of partners. If you only got 4 or 5, you need a couple of partners.
Pat,
it's not only $1 million. It ain't what it used to be. $1 billion.
That's right.
It's just like 100 years ain't what it used to be.
100 years ain't what
but
it used
Pat,
to be.
the thing I said earlier is I actually kind of like some of the moves that they decided to make, and I get kind of why they went in this direction because they weren't going to go anywhere this year anyway. But having said all that, yesterday was also just a reminder of just how much trouble baseball is in as a whole, the Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah, I was talking to somebody, and the Manfred, was in the in the know, you know. Manfred's whole deal for 2026 is not only, you know, either to certainly put some control on spending, better control on paying the players, but the imbalance in paying the players. But he wants to get the teams to start dividing up regional TV money, just like the NFL divided up completely. And boy, getting the Yankees and the Dodgers to go along with that one may not be too good. But I not only is he going to be fighting with the players come 2026, he's going to be fighting with the owners too.
It was one of the strangest days in the history of the club.
It was. I gotta tell you, we had some people over, and when they got rid of Correa, I said, "Oh, okay, it's over." Went outside, I came back in, and made 2 more trades after they Jackson, Barlin. I couldn't believe the Barlin one. You know, I couldn't fathom what that was about, because the guy's making no money, and Chris, what can you, of the players they got, you look at the resumes, there's a 19-year-old catcher. I think it's a little hard to be excited about the 16-year-old, isn't it? He's a high school sophomore.
Well, not to mention that trade with Toronto, the 2 guys you got rid of, Louis Varland, as you mentioned, and Ty France, both of them combined were making $1.5 million this year.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
And nobody, there's not the knockout. The best prospects they got were the 2 they got for Duran, as far as numerically, but that can be a bunch of load of.
Well, do they now have? They play at Cleveland tonight,
right?
Do they have a bullpen?
Okay, I got to tell you this. This is fact. The St. Paul Saints were in Toledo, right? Mm-hmm. So they're down the road. The Twins sent a bus over there last night to pick up 8 players. They sent a bus from Cleveland to Toledo to pick up 8 players. I think only 6 of them are active tonight, but they brought a couple of extra just in case somebody isn't ready to go.
Did you see what the Saints did yesterday, Patrick, when they had when they were announcing all these trades? The St. Paul Saints tweeted out a "Hello, my name is" sticker on their social media account.
Right. Well, I'm not supposed to reveal this, but just let's say that this occurred, okay? Mm-hmm. That when one of those trades was announced as the Saints were before the game watching TV, a cheer erupted in the clubhouse. But I can't. You
can't verify that.
I can verify it. I just can't tell you who it was they were cheering. But we can all make our own guess, I would think.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be texting you later to find out who it was.
And then text me, please.
Yes, a cheer erupted. Some fellas that had been in the big league clubhouse and had a chance to watch the guy operate. So anyway.
Well, then I can tell you who it was.
Well, yeah, even I know who it was. And I'm an idiot when it comes to
Correa. We're keeping it a secret.
You know what it is? Bad culture. Yeah. That's what that signifies.
Yeah. Pat, you're never short of amazement.
God will provide.
Well, I have one really dumb question. I'll apologize ahead of time. The 16-year-old, did they cut him a check? Is he getting money? How's that work?
Yeah. He was I think he got they can start signing Dominican kids and Latin American kids at age 16, and they signed this guy, I think $1.5 million or something.
So he gets money.
He can get his parents a Honda Civic or something.
He's a Dominican kid. They got a little different rules over there. Well, you know what their rule over there is? Survive until tomorrow. That's their rule there. So.
Well, he might be 16 going on 23 because birth certificates lack a little accuracy.
If he gets his head lopped off in the next 6 months, they're out that money, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't a fortune. It wasn't.
No, and we try to, but they get a hold of these guys, and they have all the and they have him playing in the Dominican Summer League, and he'll probably be over in Fort Myers in this fall, doing working out over there. And I tried.
You never know; he could be the next big thing.
See,
but you really think that they were saying, no, you can. All these teams were saying, you can't have these guys, and then they would say, well, okay, how about this guy? How about this guy?
Yeah.
Anywhere down on the list. How about that? That's a good name.
Do you have anybody who can walk?
Yeah.
He sounds like he has, Billy, Billy also. Oh, yeah, he must be a player.
Do you think any of the guys that they sent the bus down for are just going to hop in? Like, they're probably not going to know I'm on the team. I don't.
You know what? What if everybody from Toledo Club tried to get on the bus?
No, they traded for me, too.
Yeah. Okay, I know you want to go, but at the end, I got to tell you the story. With Toledo used to be the farm club, right?
Right.
Out at the Met Stadium days, and Jack Blasey, marketer of the team, would sit out there on that TV deck, and they're upstairs on the press box level, and there was like 2,200 people there, right? Mm-hmm. And some guy would strike out, and the marketing guy would be screaming, Toledo! Toledo! And I was inspired to write a St. Paul. This was that stupid was it a Paul Simon song about, pack up your, the thing that, pack up your bag and blah, 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 whatever.
Get on the bus, Gus. Don't need to.
50 ways to leave your lover.
50 ways to leave your lover.
I wrote a column, 25 ways to get to Toledo. It was really corny and probably would be embarrassing to look at. But anyway, I was so inspired by the Twins being taunted by their marketing director, their marketing assistant, that that's when they were a real organization. You could have some fun. Calvin never, but Calvin, when he unloaded them, he got back Gagne. He got back Rod Davis, who was good for a while. He got back Tom Berdansky. He didn't get a bunch of nobodies,
If I may add here, I just got a press release from the Twins about all the players they're adding to the roster.
Okay, who did we put on the roster?
Right-handed pitchers Travis Adams and Pearson Ole.
Okay.
Infielders Ryan Fitzgerald and Eddie Julian's coming back.
Yes.
Outfielder Alan Roden. And utility player Austin Martin.
Those six.
Additionally, the Twins have selected the contracts of two right-handed pitchers, Erasmo Ramirez and Jose Arena.
Yes, those guys were on the bus from St. Paul, too, so they've been put on the roster now because there's plenty of room on the 40-man right now.
I'm just picturing the equipment guy trying to get the locker room ready.
Yeah,
who the hell is this guy?
I was saying that. Hot Rod, we got a busload coming, baby. Get ready.
All right. Well, Monday we'll know a lot more, and I'll see you then.
Hey, Ray Crump's wife would be sewing like a son of a gun.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Those names on the back of them. She'd have sewer's cramp.
She'd run out of thread.
Sewer's cramp. All right. Thank you.
Goodbye.
See you later. Is down.
You've been very well behaved today.
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
Off the charts on
Fun Friday?
It's the scramble. Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa, the home of the traveling Lymans, where a giraffe just nuzzles right up to the screen porch. It was on this day,
August 1st.
In 1820, Lewis Cass, governor of Michigan Territory, negotiated a peace treaty between the Dakota and Ojibwe at Fort St. Anthony. I bet that's where we get Cass County, maybe. I don't know.
It's from Mama Cass.
Oh, on this day,
August 1st.
That wasn't funny.
I know.
On this day,
August 1st.
In 1849, Henry H. Sibley was elected delegate to Congress, and other state officers were chosen in Minnesota's first territorial election. And on this day,
on August 1st,
in 1870, the Lake Superior and Mississippi Railroad inaugurated rail service between St. Paul and Duluth. And on this day,
August 1st,
1989, Duluth held its first Bayfront Blues Festival. Originally a small one-day regional event, it grew into one of the major blues festivals in the country, attracting fans from all over the world, hosting over 200 blues performers of national and regional acclaim, and growing in attendance from about 1,000 the first year to nearly 60,000 over a 3-day period in 1998. Does that still exist?
It does. It's coming up 8th through the 10th this year.
All right. Do we know who's performing?
We do. Tommy Castro. He's a very good artist.
That's it?
Anna Popovic, John Nemeth. I mean, there's,
big blue people. Yeah.
Marcia Ball.
Yeah. On this day,
August 1st,
in 2007.
Oh, the bridge.
It shook the Twin Cities, didn't it?
That's right.
The Interstate 35W bridge collapsed during the evening rush hour. 13 people were killed, 145 injured.
I still can't believe it's not.
What's that? That's 18 years ago already.
Holy cow, you're right.
I did that math
All
just
by
off the
yourself.
top of my head.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And finally, on this day,
on August 1st,
in 2018, Comunidades Latinas Unidas and Servicio held a groundbreaking ceremony to celebrate the expansion of its St. Paul headquarters. The nonprofit, which was founded in 1981, provides vital services to Minnesota's, it says Latinx, but that's a made-up word.
Latinos.
Latino community.
Yeah.
Bleep your Latinx. Who made that BS up? And then on this day in sports disappointment history.
the Twins are over. August 1st.
Yeah.
Do you think July 31st next year will be in sports disappointment
100%.
history?
It has to
You
be.
write it right now.
On this day,
August 1.
in 1999, Demetrius Underwood
Oh, my God.
signed a $7 million contract. Was he a Viking?
Yes.
Why is that a disappointment?
Because he went to one practice and said, bleep it, and left.
He walked off.
Well, then he didn't get the money.
Oh, he must have got the signing.
Wasn't he walking down the highway or something?
Yes.
Right?
Alone.
Did he say bleep this because he realized it was a ridiculous thing to do for a living? Or was he just an
he had
airhead?
some mental issues.
Oh.
That's what he did is he said...
The goalie just said, F it, and left.
Yep.
I love that song.
Who is that?
It's Rookie. We were reading tweets from a guy that was watching, a black guy that was watching hockey for the first time.
At the Flyers game.
Yes.
So
and
they pulled the goalie.
He's like, the goalie just said F it and left.
No, it had to be when they pulled the goalie.
Yeah.
But he thought the goalie was
he
just
didn't
fed up.
Right.
Because he did not know the rules of hockey, but the Twitter account, it had to have been a parody, but it was fantastic. It was
goalie
called
just
Brother Watching Hockey for the First Time. It was fantastic.
Goalie just said F it and
F it
left.
and left.
Well, very good. Thank you, GLers.
Rook, you look a little different today. What's going on? You look a little
I'm
pensive.
trying to determine whether I should go back to the airport for a full day's honest work or use the arrival of my first grandson to just take the rest of the Friday
Do we know it's a
afternoon off
grandson?
and then go home.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we know it's a grandson?
Yes, we do know it's
Do we have a name?
Trey.
You know what?
Oh, no.
The hell with
Trey
you.
Alexander.
Not even alive.
Give me this. No, we're foghorning a
Trey
kid who isn't even
Alexander.
here yet.
Trey Alexander, I think is his name.
Is that going to get the
What's up, baby Trey?
At least he only got the single.
So what should I do?
Well,
Go back to the airport and work hard for Jack Simonet, or
good
just say,
one.
Jack, I need it. He said, for every kid I had, I was at the bar by 7 o'clock, he said.
there you go. Inspiration.
What was it like being in the room when your kids were born?
No big
Craziness,
deal.
huh?
It was crazy. It was just crazy.
I liked it better when they put us at the end of the hall with the dim red lights and we could have cigars and not be in the room.
What would you say about YouTube and social media to honor Trey? coming into this world?
I would say you got to figure it out, and you go to garagelogic.com.
Trey.
Tray. Like lunch tray.
Trey. Trayh. The G is silent.
You know what? It's a foghornable name.
You're probably going to foghorn yet.
Well, I did already.
It's not official yet, so I don't know.
Trey Lance. He had a good game last night.
I don't know what effacement she's at right now currently, so let's see that one.
You can keep that.
What is your certification?
I don't know because I'm not pregnant. What does pregnant mean? It's a pause. Like a dog, a PAWS. I never understood that.